Is the relationship between India and China at its worst point in 25 years? Just have a look at what's happening. The last Indian journalist in China has been asked to leave. And this departure will be significant. It will basically wipe India's media presence from the world's second largest economy. As of earlier this year, Indian media outlets had 4 reporters in China. 2 of them were denied visa renewals in April. Another one came back to India on Sunday as his visa expired. The last one will return this month. And what is China's excuse? Why is it denying visas to Indian journalists? Well, it's putting the blame on India. China claims its reporters had been treated unfairly in India, that they are not getting any visas either. But let me tell you this, only last month, India approved temporary visas for Chinese state media reporters. Chinese journalists were in Goa for an SCO foreign ministers meeting. If anything, China has been making it difficult for Indian journalists to work there. And the spokesperson for the Indian External Affairs Ministry, Arindam Bagchi, said, and I'm quoting, Indian journalists in China have been operating with certain difficulties, such as not being permitted to hire locals as correspondents or journalists. Beijing has imposed limitations on Indian reporters. It does not allow them to hire more than 3 assistants, that too from a pool that's provided by the Chinese authorities. India, meanwhile, does not impose any such cap on hiring. Indian journalists in China also face restrictions while traveling locally. In fact, earlier this month, the Indian Foreign Ministry called out the Chinese authorities over this. And how did China react? Well, it decided to send back the last Indian journalist, further deepening this rift. Tensions have been especially high since 2020, when the Indian and the Chinese troops clashed in Galwan Valley. China insists on keeping the dispute separate from overall bilateral ties. But the ripple effects, of course, can be seen in the trade and economic relations. Let me now tell you this. Several Chinese smartphone manufacturers in India are under scrutiny for tax evasion and illegal remittances. We are talking about no ordinary sum, but thousands of crore rupees here. In fact, many local bank accounts for Chinese companies have been frozen. And amid this, the Indian government does not want the Chinese firms to have complete end-to-end control. So it has asked the mobile phone manufacturers to induct Indian equity partners. The list includes Xiaomi, Oppo, Realme, Vivo, and they have also been asked to put Indians on top managerial posts like CEOs, COOs, CFOs, CTOs. You see, many Chinese smartphone companies currently have wholly owned operations in India, but the government wants to change that. It is asking for Indian equity partners, not just in manufacturing operations, but also in sales and marketing units. And on top of that, India is pushing to increase local manufacturing down to the component level. And it also wants the Chinese firms to expand exports and hire local distributors. Simply put, India wants to become an export and manufacturing base for these firms. It wants Indians to hold key positions. And how is China going to react to this? Ties are already fraying between the neighbors. They have been for a while now. The skirmish along the line of actual control in Arunachal Pradesh made the situation even worse. Usually such disputes are followed by dialogue to reduce the tensions, but lately both the sides have increasingly militarized the borders. They have shown no indication of backing down. The situation remains tense. And the effects have trickled down into diplomatic and trade ties. The question is, what lies ahead? WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.